Hi, BookTube. I'm here today to do my weekly wrap-up. I'm here with a very sleepy Winnie. She was sitting here sleeping, and then she woke up when I moved my laptop here. But she didn't move. She's constantly stealing this pillow. I like, especially when I'm reading physical books, I like propping up my books. So like I don't hurt my arms or wrists. But most of the time, I'm battling Winnie for the pillow. I read a lot of books because work was slow this week, and so I was able to get off work early. So, I mean, less money, but more reading time. So, I mean, I'll take that compromise, at least for now. I thought I'd start with the physical books first. I normally talk about books in order, but these are a little bit out of order, because if I don't talk about these physical books, I'm probably going to forget about them when I'm going through the tabs on the tablets. So this first one is Family Tree by Susan Wiggs, and this is what I meant to read back in October, but I just didn't get to it, and it has this lovely fall cover, and it's set in Vermont on a maple syrup farm, which is just a very quaint and nice. The main character, she grew up in Vermont and on this maple farm, and but she's always had aspirations to break out and become like a famous chef on TV, kind of like Food Network talking chefs. I'm sure a lot of you seen, at least heard about that. So she moves to LA in a very different lifestyle, and she's in a relationship, and that comes apart in a very interesting way. And long story short, I don't want to give too much away, but I think this is in the back cover. Okay, it doesn't say exactly what happens, but anyway, so due to unconventional and very sad circumstances, she goes back to Vermont. That at least is on the back. I don't want to spoil what happened there. But yeah, so she ends up back in Vermont, and she has to start her life over. And there is a second chance romance with her former high school sweetheart, which was very nice to read about. His backstory was he grew up traveling all over America with his kind of deadbeat dad in a way, he's constantly trying to be innovative. The dad is constantly trying to be innovative and make it strike rich quick, but he doesn't. And so eventually he brings his son to this small Vermont town where the main character is, and then they have a relationship. And he's considered like the bad boy of the town, just because it's a very, very small town, and so everyone's known. But he's he's the unknown figure who's kind of went all over America. So they assume he's a deadbeat as well as his dad. But that's not the case when we flash forward to now when they're both adults and she's back in town. Yeah, so this was a really nice read, and I think this is like my second read for Susan Wiggs, and I for sure want to pick up more from her because she's very good at giving you lots of details about the main characters, and you feel like you get to know them. And so I think she's really good at character studies. And then another physical book that I read was Orange by Ishigo Takano, and this is the complete collection, volume 1. There's 2 volumes in total, and this had 12 issues in it. It's a manga, and the art was really good. Here's some colored pictures here at the beginning, and each of the first little step-ins had, what do we call that? Have this really nice art style. And so this is about Nahu, and she is in 11th grade, and I don't know what kind of picture I can just show you and hold that up, maybe. Something like that. Or maybe I'll just do the front, that little front cover I showed you. I'll hold this up and talk. This is about Nahu, who's in 11th grade, and she's starting the grade, and she's getting these letters turns out from herself, 10 years in the future, and it's kind of dictating what she's supposed to do each day, because she's talking about regrets. I back when I was in this back in my life at this day, I regretted not bringing my lunch, or not talking to that boy, something like that. But the main, and we come to find out, is the reason why she's getting these letters is because her older self is saying, I really need you to help out the new boy in school. You may not know it now, but he's struggling, and he really needs your support and your friendship. And along with everyone else, they're all a really close knit friendship group, and the new boy is is this one right here. And I think that's the right one because they're not in color. Yeah. Okay. So anyway, see, they're all like helping each other out, and they're not. I like it. I like it since the high school story. They're not like a new boy can be bullied, and but they're all really nice, and they don't pick on him, and they're very supportive of him and his. I don't want to get into the story of why he's really depressed and needs help. But yeah, this is a fantastic manga. I haven't read one in a really long time, but yeah, the art style was just really good. I thought I think go through and find some more, but yeah, I'm really happy to have found this in the library. I was just browsing around, and yeah, I found this, and yeah, I'm happy to read it. And so I have part 2 to go, and so I like how it's like a complete manga, so I don't have to wait months and months to find out the ending. It's all ready for me, prepared. So yeah, I'm happy to have read this. And then the last physical book I read is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson, and this is part 1 of, I don't know what the series is called. It doesn't say, but yeah, his Skyward series. I don't know. This is and it also says Claim the Stars, and this is about Spencer, who I had to check the back to see what the name was. Oh boy, yeah. So she, they're living on they're all humans, obviously, and they're not living on Earth. Like her and generations ago, they were on this spacecraft, and they landed on this there's oxygen there, so it's I don't know, a kind of apocalyptic kind of planet, because they are constantly fighting these alien beings called the Krell, who their sky isn't the normal blue sky we have. It's when you look up, you're constantly seeing all this debris, and so there's little pockets in between the debris where you can see the stars or see the atmosphere. So these aliens come through the little the holes in the debris and attack their world, and so they are living in caverns, in caves way below, so that when they're attacked from the sky, they can't just bulldoze everything. But they're they're humans, and they want to advance their civilization, and so they want to build a city on outside of these caves, and so the main military group are these pilots, and so the main character, because the pilots are up in the air fighting the aliens, and so her whole dream and her whole life was to be a pilot. But so this story is about her becoming a pilot and her constant battle with the superiors in this world, because due to her family circumstances, she is considered not the best applicant, and so I don't want to get into anything with spoiling it, but yeah, so she's battling her superiors and also learning the abilities to fly, and so this was a fascinating world. I think Brandon Sanderson is really good at his world building, and so I'm happy to read the second one soon. I think it's Star Sight is the next one, and so I've owned this for quite a while, and I'm just now getting to it because I saw in bookstores that the second one is coming out soon. Okay, it came out couple months ago. So I'm yeah, I need to read the first one so I can get on to the second one. So yeah, this is the other one that I read. And then going to my ebooks, I read Tailing a Tabby by Lori Cass, and this is a cozy mystery with a cat in the story. The cat kind of helps solve mysteries, or he lends commentary to the story, because the main character is constantly talking out loud to the cat, and so the cat is constantly pointing out things to help her in her investigation. He keeps, for example, in this story, he keeps pulling out or trying to destroy her calendar, and she can't figure out. She just completely ignores him constantly going to this specific item. But at the end of the story, you realize, oh, dude, that was a very important clue that she should have looked at the beginning. She said, by book 2, she should realize that this cat is trying to help her. But they do make several comments. Her and her assistant keep making comments on, can the cat understand us? Because he is constantly meowing or looking right at them when they're talking. But yeah, so this story has a bookmobile in it, and the main character is a librarian, and so she's constantly fighting her superior, her boss, who is very penny pinching and doesn't want to spend any money whatsoever. And so she's trying to be very conservative with her purchases, and because like the bookmobile is very expensive. But anyway, besides that, her like comment, like the banter with them was it came out carried over from book one. This story is about she's driving along on her route, and there's this woman that runs out into the middle of the road, like, help me. And so she's very nice. Instead of like driving on or calling 911, she goes with her. It gets out of her bookmobile and goes with her, and finds that the woman's husband is having a stroke. And so she carries him to the bookmobile and acts like an ambulance and takes him on. And so the mystery is with the guy that she's saving. The guy's in the hospital, and he breaks out because he gets a call that his wife is in danger. And when he runs to the room where the call says his wife's at, his wife isn't there. There's a murder that's taken place, and so he is looked at as the victim. I mean, not the victim, as the murderer. And so the librarian helps solve the case. So yeah. Anyway, long story short, I'm horrible at describing some books, I feel like. But yeah, this is a really cute cozy mystery, and I'm probably gonna continue on with the series. And there's several books in the series, and yeah, so this was a nice like bookish cozy mystery. I then read one not so appealing. This was the first winner of the Newbery Award. This is The Story of Mankind by Hendrik van Loon, and this is a nonfiction story of mankind. But there was, for it being a like story, like for it to being a historical, worldview, there was a lot of opinion, and I had a lot of problems with this book. If I listened to a lot of this on audio, if it wasn't for the audio, I probably wouldn't have finished it. It was very slow and dull, and but he kept thinking he was funny when he wasn't. He had like a very like dry humor, and but also besides his like horrible narration, the content that is included in this book is very one-sided. It's very Eurocentric. There is hardly anything talked about of places like South America or Africa, and a lot of things are skimmed over, like the slave trade. And so yeah, this was not something I would recommend. I cannot imagine for this Newbery winner for being a children's book. I can't imagine any child picking this up and reading it, much less enjoying it. So yeah, this was a rough start to my prize, but I know there's some good books coming up, and so yeah, I'm happy to have ticked it off, but it's not something I would recommend, and not something I would ever reread. And then I read Jude Devereaux's Met Her Match, and this is one I found at the library. I read this physical copy, but I don't have it in my possession anymore. I had to return it. But this is kind of like Romeo and Juliet, where you have the main character. She lives at the lake house area, and then you have the townies who are like the upper class. And so she's all of her life kind of lived in the shadow of being the poorer side of the town. But not only that, there's a lot of rumors about her mother who left town mysteriously. And so there's a lot of gossip that the mother left because she was cheating and had an affair on her husband. And so the main character, has grown up with a lot of her high school classmates saying, you're going to grow up just like your mother, and you're just being a cheating liar, and you're no good. And so it's her story of overcoming that horrible gossip and finding out the truth about her mother. And then also she has a relationship with a guy who isn't from this town, who comes in. He is marrying a woman who is from the rich side of the area, but he is like stuck at the lake because he arrives into town, and come to find out that his fiance has left without telling him. He's like, I'm here, where are you? And, oh, I'm actually on vacation in Italy. And so he is he doesn't really know, going into this town, he doesn't realize that there's a huge controversy between the lake and the town. So he is at the lake. He's helping out with repairs, and he comes to really befriend this main character. What I didn't like about this book is the love triangle, because he is waffling between his the fiance and this striking new woman that he has a friendship with. And this main character, she knows from the get-go that he is engaged, but she's constantly like battling that, I don't know, like desire of, she knows she shouldn't, cross that line, but she's kind of like reining it in, which I didn't enjoy. But if I ignore the love triangle, then it was okay. It was a good book, because in the end it all washed out fine. But yeah, I could have done without that waffling. Let's see. I then read, oh no, I don't know what happened here. Let's see if I can get that to go away. Well, okay, I don't know what happened. 1 second. There we go. I had a split screen for a second. I couldn't figure that out. So I read a comic book. This is Superboy and the Legend of Superheroes Volume 1. And this is by Paul Levitz. And this came out, I think, in the 70s. And I was reading this because I was with my boyfriend looking at the comics. And he picks up those like single issues at the comic book store. And so I saw that they have a new run of the Legion of Superheroes, and so I wanted to go back and read more about like the history of it, the older issues. And I have read like an omnibus of the Legion of Superheroes, because when my boyfriend was getting into comics, I was like, okay, I want to look at like the classics like Superman, and so I read like the Silver Age edition of like the Superman, and so I had him when he was Superboy, and so he was constantly with these Legion of Superheroes, and so this is like a relaunch of that. And so okay, I'll try that. And so yeah, I like this. I don't know if I really want to get into details of each of the issues, but it had for being volume 1, it was a lot longer than I was expecting, because I read it on like on the Hoopla app, and so I didn't have a physical copy, but it was like 300 something pages, and I was like, oh, because like normally like volumes, I don't know, are like 130 pages or something, so this one had a lot more in it, and so I'm happy for that, because I got more out of one volume. But this is about for anyone who doesn't know, because I wouldn't know either. This is about people in like the far future, and there's a lot of advanced technology. But Superboy, who is like a young Superman, comes from his day and age, comes to this future era whenever they need help. And each of the heroes in this has a specific ability that no one else in the group has. So there's one who can control lightning. There's one that can read people's minds. There's one that can shrink. There's one that can become a giant. So things like that. And so it's all about them, saving the world, each issue at a time. What I like about this is each issue was a contained story, which was nice. Because I know like with the the new ones I've read, like the ones that I was mentioning, what inspired this was like the new issues coming out with the new storyline. They're very confusing. There's 2 that's come out, and I've read both of them, and I have no idea what's happening. Like, I think I need the full volume to figure out the full storyline, because right now it's very erratic, and I'm not like, so is that, because I couldn't figure out what was going on, so I wanted to go back and read like where are these characters inspired from. Let's see, and then I just have 2 more to talk about. This next one is a short story collection, and this is Sweet Land Stories by E.L. Doctorow. This is an author I've been meaning to read for quite a while, and I'm finally getting to them, because there's so much of their work that I want to read. And so I thought a short story collection would be a good way to launch into this author. And now I just want to read a bit about the description, because I think that really sums up briefly what this is about. And so each of the stories are set in a different spot in America, in a different time period as well. And so it says, let's see, you will find yourself set down in a mysterious red brick townhouse in rural Illinois, working things out with a baby kidnapping couple in California, living on a religious cult commune in Kansas, and sharing the heart-rending cross-country journey of a young woman navigating her way through 3 bad marriages to a kind of bruised but resolute independence. And you will witness a special agent of the FBI finding himself at a personal crossroads with investigating a grave breach of White House security. And so just this author's like the depiction of people and like their motivations, and they're like, I don't know, like crazy, like how like a normal person can go like really, act abnormally, and how they end up in these weird situations of like death or murder or really bad circumstances was really interesting. And yeah, it was really well written as well. Each story it was like, I don't know how long the pages were because I read on the ebook, but it was like, it said 30 minutes per short story. And so yeah, this was really good. If I'm describing this correctly. Yeah, it's all kind of like all about like living the American dream, but how, you know, that straight path can really, like, there's a lot of twists and turns along the way, and your life doesn't always follow your like set plan of how you would like it to go. And then the last book I read is Frankenstein by Jeanette Winterson, and this I've heard a lot about. It's not something I would normally gravitate towards, but I thought I would give it a try. I've heard a lot about it, and this is a kind of like, it has multiple storylines in it. It has Mary Shelley and her writing Frankenstein, and she is talking with her significant other and like Lord Byron, people of her day. She's talking about writing her story, her inspiration for it. So you have that storyline, and then flash forward in the future, there's this like really bizarre storyline that I didn't totally get along with. There's one plot line where they are creating these like sex robots or sex dolls. That was weird. And then there is another storyline where they're trying to increase mortality. So where, you know, you're dead, but you're not dead. You can be turned into this like electric file on the computer, and then, you know, we can, you know, relaunch you and continue your life. And then the other storyline, I'll get the characters right. Rye doesn't say his last name, but there's a transgender doctor who is falling in love with a professor who is developing AI technology. And so that's like the main, I feel like that was more of the main plot line of the story that I could follow with some of the other storylines that was going on. And I don't know, it just didn't work for me. It's all kind of like a mess. I mean, I know a lot of people love this book, but for me, it just wasn't my kind of I don't know, my kind of fiction to read. But I'm happy to have read it. Jeanette Winterson was really good at playing with, you know, a lot of commentary on what's happening today and our viewpoints on things. And you know, Mary Shelley's work was like phenomenal. But yeah, just all in all, it wasn't something that I truly enjoyed. So yeah, these are the books I read. She's sleeping now. I can wake her up so she can look at the camera. But no. Oh, Winnie. She's cute though. Oh, it's hard to see her without, you look at her eyes that way. Because me looking at her from far away, you just see this black with her little ears. But yeah, in a way, yeah, I had a really good reading week. We'll see what's coming up this week, and if I have a lot more time off, then, you know, more reading time for me, which I'm not complaining at all, really, because I had a very busy December. It was very hectic with lots of overtime, and so yeah, it's like a weird imbalance, but I'll take it. But yeah, thanks. I'll see you soon in book 2.